said, we back with the part 2 because that video was getting a little bit too long. So this one ain't gonna be that long. Shit. But this one ain't gonna be that long. We just gonna finish it off. The foundations that you have with people. You know, that karmic residue. You ever say, see where we left off at, see what comes out. Because like I said, there was a lot of messages to be containing for one. So, but I wanted to, you were saying, like you were saying the last reading, I wanted to just stick to the foundations that you had with certain people. You hear me say? I did. Alright, so yeah. I gotta catch up on green. I really do. I gotta catch up on that shit. My baby. Sorry. Alright, okay. Ooh. Daughter of course. Shit. Don't like her. Daughter of knives. It's not that I don't like her. It just be the personality traits. You hear me say? Because she, in this deck, she doesn't describe, shit. She doesn't describe necessarily, you know how like certain cards pinpoint certain points. It could be the personality traits that a person has. Because sometimes people think tarot is just necessary to define certain people and don't be understanding like, no, this doesn't have to be them. It could be a part of who they are. Now going back to this foundations you created with certain people, i.e. relationships, and we're going to see what's going on. How some of y'all chose the person you chose. 4 of Sticks. God damn. 9 of Wands. Ooh-wee. Let's go. Shit. The fuck? We're gonna see what that is. Ooh. Overall mood, you got the 8 of Pentacles and the Mother of Knives. Shit. That's the same thing as the Queen of Swords. It is. Ooh, shit. Ooh, girl. Whoo. God damn. I don't know if this is the person that's paying attention or another person that is paying attention. I don't know. Because you hear me say this is like putting in work and interest of understanding. Mother Knives, you hear me say she could be a very hyperly negative person. You hear me say sometimes can be to a fault. You hear me say she could be I want to say clairvoyant. Being able to see through certain things would have been reversed. It's kind of like blocked. So those abilities for to be able to think or to do certain things, hear me say, it's blocked. Damn. Yeah, damn, before we started already. Okay. The foundations, you hear me say, just check it out certain things. When we was talking about those karmic type situations, those tower type moment, you getting hit with another big house. The big house, you hear me say, is situations where you hear me say, dealing with things that come in with you fast and not being able to adjust. Oh, this is what I be telling y'all about. I be telling y'all, go buy this goddamn deck. Please. Please. Readers, please go buy this. And when you read it back and y'all see how I talk, y'all will not be offended. Okay? I'm going to pull this out. 6 of Wands, you hear me say, this is like that VIP status. This is like feeling on top. But with the 10 of Wands, that's like that cruel backstabbing. People setting you up in situations. Motherfuckers plotting for you to fail. Like that situations and not knowing how to deal with it. Then you got the 3 of Baskets here as well. It could be lover situations, you hear me say, to being cheated on. You hear me say the gossipy, the rumor, or just people just not it could be failed preparations, you hear me say, for celebration. So let's say for instance if you were planning a wedding before COVID and that shit got planned, you gonna be like, God damn, like, you know what I'm saying? Or even if COVID wasn't going on and you put your, or you was in a situation to where something just didn't fall through, like it's that type of energy. So it's kind of like filled with a sense of like it just gets a shiesty. I just gotta say shiesty. Shiesty. I just gotta call it shiesty. You got courting energy. Like you hear me say, this is the relationships. You hear me say a lot of people are dealing with this courting energy. And this card talks about how you hear me say they used to do arranged marriages and parenting, where you hear me say this day and age where it kind of goes a little bit too far because elders used to dictate the relationship. So this is where you hear me saying this economy, to where we rely too much on parental type advisories for his relationships, setting the person instead of figuring out the foundation that we can have with people. Because you got the mother of coins and the four swords. Mother coins, you hear me say that it's like financial stability or being in a place. This is like wholesome, being grounded. But with the 4-9, somebody could be thinking about their financial place. You hear me say, especially when it comes to mothers and parental type situations. So this could be that though. You hear me say, and I told you that's contractual type obligations as well. You got Big Mom. I think this is son. Don't quote me. Don't fucking quote me. I don't know. I know like what they mean. You hear me say like the questions and answers, but some of them I do not fucking know. I really don't know. But this is the Big Mama though. Like this is a personal situation. It talks about how she speaks over the how Big Mama, you hear me say, looks towards the kids to reap the benefits. Kind of like the Aquarius type energy, how she got it explained in this type of deck though. So it's dealing with how you give, how you receive, like are you grateful, all those different types of things in the relationship, like the key to foundation to love and happiness. Because I'm telling you, this mother of coins and this 4 of 9s, it may be a stress, you hear me say, with financial type situations, or how you may have dated when it comes to men. Like that's what it gets me though. I'm telling you, that courting card, what a lot of people going through, when you hear me say dealing with marriages, or you dating partners, or financial type situations, or for financial security, or a person who's not dating somebody for financial security, that courting card is a lot, because there could be a lot of pressure that comes from, you hear me say, a parental type figure, or a person, you hear me say, that's trying to get married, or you're dating, or those worries that come from like generational aspects of parents. Well, I see my parents do this, so I'm going to work and I'm going to do this, and I don't want to ever have to do this, only to recognize that it's not your dream. So a lot of people are starting to recognize that in positions and relationships they got with people, that it wasn't their dream. It was somebody else's dream. Like, especially when you talk about spiritual assistants and guides. Like, sometimes you got to tell some of them, like, hey, now, boss, wait. I know I asked you for assistance on this, but I ain't tell you to run my life now. This mine. Alright, I believe in reincarnation, but sometimes, hey, I want to try some things too. I don't want to do what you want to do. So y'all got to tell your guides that. You got 9 of Wands though. Shit. Oh shit, we got to hear this up. I got 20%. You got 9 of Wands though. This is defensive and standing up for what it is that you want. Ooh-wee. That's why I say you got Mother of Sticks and the Mother Baskets and the 4 of Wands. I don't want to say that. I'm saying I don't want to say this though, because it's too interpersonal though. Some of y'all got parents who are always in y'all business or relationships, or telling you how you should date for this. It could be a partner, like you hear me say, you may have had like a needy, like my son was saying, like needy, because I think I went through like, what was it, a month ago? I was like overly needy. He was like, oh, you are so needy in this moment. I was like, I don't know why. Like, you know. So some of y'all have these type of parents that are very defensive of the foundation that they have created with certain people. It could be a lover that feels like they have to go against a parent in those type of matters, or whatever the case may be, where a lot of masculine energies could nip that in the bud, because mothers are very protective over their son, over their son, because you got 9 of Wands, and it's talking about a fight to the gods and defending for what you want, especially the 7 of Pentacles. Whew, this is reaping the harvest. That's why I said yes. Some of y'all going through that. And then let me tell you something. It was so funny because when I pulled from this deck, 2 of Wands and an Ace of Sticks. That's why I said being stuck in the past, not being able to move forward, indecisions, you hear me say, or letting certain things plan the future for you. When I pulled this deck the first time, you hear me say, because I ain't touched it in a minute. As soon as I hit the deck, I told you I was so weird. Because we was talking about, I think I did some other reading. I'm not going to say the sign. But, doing the reading, I'm telling you, it was so funny because it was talking about like a karmic situation, how somebody it had like a woman in the middle, it had the baby daddies on the side, the person who she's in a relationship, the outside kid. It was so funny. It was so it wasn't funny, but it was weird how all of it was entangled. And I don't even think it had something, because it had a whole nother set, because I don't think it had something to do with them, like the actual person, like the situation they going through. It was something they parent did, and they doing the same thing in their relationship, and they don't know why, and they stuck. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, how the hell I pick up on this? Daughter of Knives. That's the Page of Swords. I dedicate to you. Ooh, child, that's what I said. That title gonna be very misleading. I'm sorry, y'all. I thought we was gonna stick to it. John Horseman on the bottom of the deck. That's why I said John Horseman also speaks about spiritual counseling. This is the Emperor. This is the Aries energy. It also talks about asking for certain advice from certain people or certain situations. Are you really learning from certain people? Are you taking on proper advice? Like you hear me say, what I say, I think that was in a Gemini. I think I said whichever one. I don't know if it was Gemini or it was whichever air sign. I think it was air sign just overall. I said how you may be dealing with somebody that may be overly critical in this moment, or they may be overly critical in this moment. And when it comes to them taking in certain advice, they don't know how to take it because somebody always do something to where we just talked about last spread to where somebody comes along and deal for you. This is where the tug of war is going in at. Wives versus moms, dads versus dads. Yes. I'm sorry, I'm just a little excited. I'm so excited. Yep. You got 5 of baskets, 5 of cups, 5 of baskets, and the 7 of baskets. I told you I like the baskets because, you know, they used to say love. People used to be basket fucking cases or whatever the case may be. But this is where you hear me say somebody is stuck. You hear me say when it comes to making a decision. But at the same time, it's like they're not stuck. But it's kind of like taking them a minute to be able to get over and grieve certain things that they lost. So they head is kind of like in the clouds. It's like more in the clouds of thinking about what it could have been, should have been, like somebody's more in the romanticism. So it kind of gives me, though, I'm telling you, with this other mother out here, you got mother coins, mother baskets reversed. And I told y'all, this is a maternal type issue. So it could be masculine energies or feminine energies if you date women. How you date based off the parent you have. Feminine energies, you parent the way your parent didn't parent you and only recognize that a lot of shit y'all doing is not working. So to recognize this instances with certain people and situations, and a lot of people, you hear me say, I get in this season, you hear me say, as I say it all the time, you hear me say, when it first started off the quarantine, when celebrity was saying they was in us, they was in here with us, we was ready to put their head on a chopping block for their head to later on get put on a chopping block. Like after they started doing performances and shit like that shit died off. But then only for later their head to be on the chopping block to recognize, to bring them down, to say, oh shit, I gotta go and self-reflect on a lot of shit. So a lot of things that were highlighted, because you ever say the internet can be cruel when they overturning like your life, your drama, and they participating in your whole life. They just be digging up secrets. That shit had you sitting down thinking about some shit like, whoo. You be thinking about a lot of decisions you done fucking made in your life. Let me just say that. So boom. You got Aquarius type energy. You got the 5 of Wands. You got the Big Queen and the 4 of Cups. Again, like you hear me say, overcoming that grief, dealing with decisions. You hear me say, this is where, you hear me say, this is the grandchildren. Like you hear me say, that's why I said, it could be maternal, could be a grandmama. It could be a grandmama that has an interest invested into the grandson, or a mother that's trying to push their child into being a parent and they don't want to. So it's very defensive. Or it could be vice versa as a male. You're, oh, when you gonna have granny some babies? Like that type of energy. Or when you gonna settle down and get married? Well, I don't like her. You gonna choose her? That type of energy. But the 5 of Wands and the 5 of Wands in this instances talk about beating your competition. So it's kind of like, yeah, like beating your competition. So somebody could be contemplating that or overcoming that. You hear me say, when it comes to the decision of others. The Big Queen, you hear me say, is all about compromising in situations. Like, how do you deal with certain things in those unfair type times before you get ready to move forward? Like, this is going on in somebody's head space right now that's limiting them from being able to move forward. Ooh, this is juicy. Juicy. Said I wanna get to know your juicy booty tonight. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all got father of Sims, son of Knives, and the mother of Sticks. Ooh, look at that little high-headed little thing. Look at that little high-headed little thing. That's a temperamental, you me say, going back to the smothering mama, person who doesn't have boundaries or whatever the case may be. Then you hear me say the father of Knives. Person could not think before they speak. They're very ruthless, and tactful with their communication. You got the son of Knives. That's why I said this could be a mother. I told y'all, baby daddy, baby mama drama been coming up a lot. Some of y'all been going through with y'all baby daddy, baby mama. I'm telling y'all. And it's not like on a funny type tip, but some of y'all don't even recognize how you, the person, how you got pregnant, the situations that you dealing with, is coming from like a past type tense. That's why when you see the elders or parent or person that's trying to keep it copacetic or saying, no, just go ahead and do this instead of telling you, that's what's keeping the cycle going in chaos. I'm not laughing at y'all, but yeah, that's what. So you got the father Knives and the mother Wands. Like, they're very roots. This could be a baby daddy, baby mama. Somebody is very hypercritical over that baby mama. They don't give a fuck what they say to her. You could probably cuss her ass out over the child. I ain't even laughing at it. It's not, I'm telling you, it's not even funny like that. It's not funny like that at all. Whew. But yeah, that's why I say a lot of y'all don't even recognize that when it comes to like the potential suitor. Like, if you just sat down and ask your mother how she met your dad and all this different types of listening to their pain, because it's adults, or sometimes we take on sympathy. Sympathy is to be able to relate. So when you raise your kids, you say, well, I'm going to be there for my child, and I'm going to raise them because my dad wasn't there for me. Not I'm raising the child to be the person that they need to be. You raising them because of what somebody else didn't do, creating a sense of a cycle. Or my mama went with her baby daddy, so I'm going to marry my baby daddy, only to recognize that your mother wasn't meant to be with them because it was a one-night stand, or it probably was a hit and miss. They didn't relate. It was probably just a fling, and not knowing that because of the elders, discordant energy, because they married out of trauma, suppression, and like slavery and all those different type of things to identify each other, for them to be able to come back to each other, to recognize each other. Yeah. And you seen what happened with Harriet. Harriet married that nigga. He went off. He got sold. Only come find out she free and slave. This nigga got a whole family. But that's what marriage was. It was a bondage to be able to come back to each other. Only to recognize that it's like, damn, yeah, that's why I said some of y'all gotta fix shit with your kids. Whew. Two of Pentacles, Two of Knives, and the Strength here. That's why I said some of y'all are learning about strength, taming your inner lion. How do you, why am I saying that? How do you deal with the uncertainties of things, of mismanaging financial type situations, of truths? Like, you hear me say, what reading was it? That was a Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini reading where you hear me say about the financial planning. It was about a baby mama, baby dad, and somebody sucked their financial planning. I told you this is why I don't pull these out, because she snatched the girls back. And I don't like doing these sense of readings because everybody don't like the truth, right? But it's also about going into situations half-cocked and not seeing like the fruit of the labor, and also dealing with people, you hear me say, that entice this type of behavior, the Six of Wands energy. People who say, oh, I'm in there, girl. I fuck with you, girl. Yeah, he wrong. But in the end, you can't see your wrong because of the ego. That's a lot. It is. That's a lot. Oh, I said, God damn. You got ancestors, the moon, the son of Sticks, and the daughter of Wands. Could be some of y'all. Some of y'all are still young. Parental type issues. Some of y'all don't really just necessarily connect, because the ancestors, you hear me say, ancestors reverse. You hear me say, because a lot of people be trying to tap into ancestor work for its magic, like the Temperance energy, for its like magical type aspects or whatever the case may be. And the moon is also discovering a sense of truth, like questions that you didn't ask. Son of Wands, you hear me say, this is a hard-headed little cunt. I'm sorry. And with the daughter of Swords, you hear me say, this is how feminine and masculine energies date nowadays, where they say, oh, well, you got a Bugatti? Bitch, I got a Bugatti. Da, da, da. Like people who do stuff like that or whatever, and they meet people where they only recognize that two masculine energies, especially if you straight, or two feminine energies, don't coexist in a relationship. Like, acting like each other and mirroring each other is not working. Like, that's on an old soul plane. Like how we date the hurt that's in others, because the ancestors, you hear me say, that's the past. You hear me say the grandchildren, how they used to speak over the grandchildren and wanting them to reap the harvest of certain things that they didn't. Like this when they used to put in prayers and say, oh, I hope the next generation, where they used to speak over the babies and wanting them to reap the seeds, because they knew they didn't know how. Only for people to get this stuff and fuck it up, and they don't want to recognize their sense of truth. This is where the elders, the ancestors, where you hear me say, like, one of the eyes is going to be able to see in a different portal. Some of y'all parental type issues don't want to see, and they don't want to be accountable for their actions. So it creates this overinflated ego amongst all of us, to where you like, no, he's supposed to do this, because the daughter sticks lady in here, this is like show-offy, arrogant. She's a liar, a con artist, a manipulator. Him as well. So it's kind of like where you hear me say meeting each other, to where like that energy between both and not recognizing that. Those are truth. Those are truths. So, yeah. Is somebody coming back in the damn door? Whew. Yes. Gullah Jack and a Dr. Grant. Let me say, Gullah Jack is all about doing the time, you can't do the crime. Root work, you hear me say, shit, I was gonna say root work. Shit. Damn, I don't know why I was gonna tell y'all that. Dr. Grant, you hear me say, in this season, or whatever the case may be, Dr. Grant also talks about the hermit energy of going within, time, patience, and being able to discover certain things, like what are you putting into, where your roots lie, what are you planting. Gullah Jack is also about putting yourself in situations. If you can't do the crime, don't do the time. So you hear me say, that's like the parental type issue. I think me and my sister had that conversation when I was like, no, you have to be a mother at the end of the day. It's not saying somebody gets a cop out, but you still a mother first. If you like, well, that's what people fail to recognize when it comes to being a parent. Like, outside of the financial providing, what are you mentally, emotionally, and spiritually installing into your kids? So a lot of people don't really understand these two, so they get caught up in situations and get mad. But this shouldn't did this should have did this, or he should have did this. No, what you should have did, what you can do when you get outside of hurt. But like I said, this all going on in somebody's mind. Like, I guess they thinking about what they could have done, especially self-reflecting and going to the past. Like, this ain't present. That's why I said somebody's a little bit obsessive in their mind. Like, you hear me say, somebody could have had a baby mama, baby that cheated on them, or dealing with cheating or infidelities, or whatever the case may be. Somebody may need to apologize. I say this all the time to masculine energies. If you know you want that nigga to your baby mama, and you know you hurt her, you need to go back and apologize. If she was a shitty person to you, she need to go back and to apologize. And this is where apologies need to go into play. You hear me say, for kids to see those healthy foundations to grow up. Like, people repeating the same cycles with their mama and daddy, only for their kids to do the same thing, and then say, well, just now, do this. You ain't do it with your husband. You ain't do it with your baby daddy, so why the fuck you forcing this, and you know you didn't? And even if you had the chance, you would get in the room, or you wouldn't say nothing. That's the shit what people be trying to get us to do, but we don't do. Like, all rooted into the ancestral line of pathology and doing the same thing. So I'm finna hurry up and wrap this up, because my background's starting to get really loud. And yeah, that's why I said I'm finna wrap this up real quick. And that's it. So that's why I said we're gonna wrap this up, and this is the end. So that's why I said there may be some harsh truths for y'all. But I'm telling y'all, some of y'all are in your mind obsessing over this, and you going over and over and over and over again. It's not leading to no actions. The Giant Horseman. That's about help. Getting help or understanding, you hear me saying, putting shit into action so you can be in the emperor type mode. Well, you don't know what you don't know. You always do what you always done. Remember that. So, last but least, yes, that's why I said there go that apology. But you got Ace of Knives, the Three of Sticks, and the Five of Coins. That's why I said some of y'all got to learn how to mentally be able to move on and make the decision. You hear me say, to forgive somebody, to get a new sense of understanding, to be able to communicate, especially this Five of Knives. He's not financially stable, was not financially stable at the time, or a parent. Somebody who possibly has alcohol or substance abuse type problems, being able to move on from that narrative as well. Because you got them Bones, Dr. Grant, and the Father of Sticks. It's kind of like a harsh truth or reality of those seeds that has been planted. Like, for real. Like, this is shit you hear me say when I say men do hardships, or men who are more financially stable, those father of coins energy or whatever the case may be. This energy is with a person that you hear me say when it comes to truth. What men do sometimes, where they overwork the feminine energies because of those. You hear me say, before he knew he could get the lady that was a root worker, like trying to teach her his sense of magic or whatever the case may be, he sent her on pointless errands over and over and over again because he wanted to know, was she worth it? And this what men do over time. And sometimes they be like, I don't know if you worth it. I don't know if you worth it. Only to recognize that it's like abusive as hell. Like overworking the shit out the mom. Or she feel like she gotta overdo. Like this shit that masculine energy does. Like for real. And only to recognize that the situation doesn't work out. Again. So that's what's on the bottom of the deck. That's why I said somebody is owed an apology. I wouldn't say male or female, but I think it's both too that needs it. To clear the air. If it's your kids, like you hear me say, when I started healing, I had to go back and apologize to my child several times. Even though y'all say, what the fuck? I was like, man, I'm sorry. I put you in some fucked up ass situations. I done did this. I take on this. Like, even when I'm healing and evolving, I'm like, man, I apologize. Because I didn't recognize what I didn't know. Okay, but you got 3 of Knives. Bishop C. Mason, the 9 of Knives, and the John Horseman. This is an obstacle you can't overcome. Everything you hear me say that be reversed, the regular tarot is overcoming upright at the bottom. So it's like this is on top, what's at the bottom on regular tarot. That's why I said this is something you hear me say, overcoming depression, anxiety, stress, worries, fears, situation. It could be this is the Hierophant. It could be marital issues. It could be you with spiritual issues, alignment, spiritual awakening, all that shit. This shit that you can overcome. As I said, clearing out certain what's that shit called? Damn, generational curses and pathology. Damn. 6 of coins though. That's what I said. Ooh. But some of y'all gambling though right now. I ain't saying gambling or dealing with a sense of losses, but some of y'all trying to recuperate, and it feels like losses at this type of moment. Some of y'all gambling. You hear me say, people who are more spiritual and ascended. Some of y'all playing with your own alignment in this type of moment. Y'all really are. 7 of Knives to go them harsh truths. Again, that's why I said, yeah. Oh, here you go. You got the 5 of Knives, the 8 of Knives, and the Son of Coins. It's that card. I tell you, like, this is what I had pulled. Where you hear me say, this is somebody. And in most cases, the masculine energy, where you hear me say that was getting that energy of somebody that's more financially stable, that hated they got money. Because when it comes to the 8 of Coins, they don't know which way to go. Like, this is the people, the situations that constantly ask or beg, or you don't know which way to turn, who, you know, when it comes to decisions. And the 5 of Wands also. So it's kind of like when you don't do what they want you to do. This is the guilt that a person as a feminine or a masculine energy, but it gave me like a dude that like hates having money because of this energy. Because people, you hear me say that, self-sabotage. Like this self-sabotaging energy. Where it's kind of like you let these situations, these obstacles and people do this to you to where it puts you in a position of regret. Other than that though, that's it though. Cause now I see you got 10 of Sticks, 5 of Coins. That's overcoming them hardships. The Gardens on Caroline as well. The Wheel of Fortune. That's why I said some of y'all trying to overcome and create new cycles. So that's the Wheel of Fortune as well, though. Some of y'all are trying to figure out, where do you exist? What is going on in this sense of moment? Some of y'all are burdened, but you over like 10 of Wands upright in this deck is asking for help. This is when you, the John Horseman, like you hear me say, asking like, I need help. I'm going through this. Even when it comes to a relationship, when I be telling y'all, like when you dating or you trying to get a relationship, you got baby daddy, baby mama drama. When you dating, when you got kids, true enough, Trisha don't have no say in my sexual interest or partner. But they have to be like your specific person that comes in and alleviate mentally, emotionally, all those different types of things. People fail to recognize that when it comes to choosing a partner. Instead of saying, well, my mama don't like them. Nah, mama, this motherfucker helped me out. Nah, mama, I ain't stressing about shit. I ain't gotta beat the kids' ass no more. Cause I come home, work, and this ain't this. No, this motherfucker help me. I ain't tired no more. I ain't gotta go chase this down. They come help me pick up my child. They take the meat out. That type of shit when it comes to help. So people don't recognize that though. So that's why I said when you picking partners, because that's why I said this is rekindling old flames and being content with your past. That's what some of y'all are being forced in. Feel like you're embarrassed and humiliated when it comes to decisions that you made. It's like being comfortable with whatever decision you made, whether that shit went bad, good, whatever. Like when people saying, oh, I think you still love your ex. I'm like, hell no, bitch, I'm content with my past. I knew what it was. I liked it, this type of love. I was attracted to this type of love, but I'm not no fucking mole. Fuck is you talking about? Okay? So I'm not anymore. But when you heal it, you be in this energy to where you content with what happened in the past, especially when it comes to old loves. You able to appreciate that for when that new nigga come in, not because of what the last nigga didn't do, but because you understood and value what your love was. So in that moment, I think I got y'all out the way. Because I told y'all I don't bring the girl out there much because she snatch our wigs. But I told y'all, go get it. I really like this deck. I really do for everybody today. Or whatever the case may be. Especially like if you grounded. Or whatever the case may be. But I don't bring it out though. I bring it out for situations like this. Not just personal readings. Because, you'd be around here snatching all y'all wigs. When I like a little blanket truth sometimes, I do. So that's why I said, overall, just getting comfortable with the decisions you made. So this is your part 2. I don't know if y'all might see me again, but I'm trying to get in the spirit of, because I know some of y'all like got a little addiction to tarot. I ain't even gonna lie. And y'all be wanting people to push it out just a little bit much. Well, some of y'all just not even addicted. Y'all just be wanting to just fuck with a person. Because I know my ass, I be bored as hell watching old tarot readings of people, because I'm bored. And some of the shit, it resonates now. I already went through it, so I'm like, it's dope. So other than that, though, that's it. And this is your part 2.